Darren, with a very interesting person sitting next to me.
Hello,
Won't you introduce yourself?
my name is Joey Severance and I'm a tour manager.
And you're not only tour manager.
Well, yeah, I guess.
You've done a lot of interesting things, like having a movie, small part,
Yeah,
for the American MTV.
I had a small part in a movie made by a Canadian film crew called Metal Headbangers Journey, which was pretty much about heavy metal culture and, you know, I guess the family tree of metal, and I had a small part in it, which was pretty cool.
Okay, and let's start from the beginning. From where did you start from? Where were you born? And after that, we'll go to business.
I was born in New York, Queens, but I wasn't raised there. I was raised in a city called Providence, which Providence is right sandwiched in between New York City and Boston. So as a music fan, I was pretty lucky. You know, normally when bands tour the US, they always go to New York City, and they always go to Boston. So in between, you've got to go through Providence. So I was lucky to see some really cool stuff growing up.
Okay, and right now, I think you're operating with a lot of bands, right?
Yeah, I've gone on tour with a lot of bands. I'm on this tour because of Immoral, the support for Amorphous, but I met them 5 years ago when they were doing their very first tour ever, supporting Fintroll.
Yeah.
So we stayed in touch over the years, but yeah, I've done a lot of tours with a lot of bands, Cannibal Corpse, Immortal, Hypocrisy, Behemoth, and like I was saying before, I'm just lucky that I can pick and choose the bands at this point that I tour with. I do that based on if I like them as people or not if I like their music.
Yeah, I can see that because when you're in a bus for a month or more sometimes.
Yeah, everyone has to get along.
Yep.
But you know, usually, and surprisingly, there's not that guy on this tour, but usually there's always one guy that ruins it for everybody. Some asshole who thinks he's doing something important. You know what, here's the bottom line. What we do, this is rock and roll. It's not brain surgery, it's not rocket science. There's not one band that I've toured with, no one is doing anything important. It's just entertainment. They are here to entertain the people that are standing there in front of them. Some people or some bands really think they're doing something to contribute to this society in an important way, and maybe having someone listening to your record at home instead of robbing someone on the streets is one way, but in the big picture, it's just entertainment.
Of course, music's supposed to entertain us, and music could be our lives, right?
Yes, I think if you use it in a positive way.
Yeah.
For me, there's music and then there's everything else. Yeah.
First of all, there's music.
Yes, music, food, water, air.
That's
And
okay.
even the body the body needs water and not food, so music and water.
Right. Can you name your favorite, or actually, can you say there is a favorite band?
Yes, my favorite band to tour with is 6 Feet Under. You know why? It's real easy. Touring with 6 Feet Under is real simple. This is their road crew. They have a sound guy, they have one guy on the stage, and they have me. The drummer, Greg, he builds his own drum set. And it's only one drum set for all the bands to use. It's not we're the headliner and you're the support and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, so in that case, I mean, Terry, their bass player, he sells the merchandise. When he's on stage, I stand there, but as soon as their show is over, he gets off the stage, I give him the money and I take off and he sells the merchandise, and I think that's really cool. You know, I just like to be around people that are easygoing and know the situation they're involved in. Like I said before, what we're doing is just entertainment. We're not saving lives. I mean, I could be a doctor. I chose not to. A lot of people don't see things in perspective, which is unfortunate. I mean, you've got some guys who are standing on stage really thinking they're the shit. No, you're not the shit. To me, I'm impressed with some guy in a lab in his white coat who's really dedicating their lives for the advancement of other people. But that's just my opinion. I mean,
I think that the people are those who decide who will be on the top. I mean, there might be a band who will be in the top of the tops and the charts for 1 or 2 or 5 years, and after that people will just stop listening to their music because they don't like their album or something.
Could be, yeah. Well, you know what? Today, there is, especially in metal music, there's just too much of everything. Too many bands, too many labels, and not enough money from the buying public. So, personally, I mean, I haven't bought records in a long time because of what I do. But I can tell you I'm extremely happy that a kid listening to music today can sit at home and download something before he goes out and spends his money on it. Because there's a lot of crap coming out from a lot of shitty bands. And I really wish you would all break up. Really. Yep.
Well, everyone, I think, right now is in a band. Everyone is trying to be a star, not because they love the music, just, to be famous.
When I was a kid, standing in the mirror pretending to be Paul Stanley, I was doing it because Paul Stanley was cool, and I want to be cool too. Nowadays that I'm older and I know how everything works, I'm still a fan of the music first. And I would hope that a lot of the bands that we tour with, or that I tour with, are also doing it for the same reasons. The touring life is not for everybody. A lot of it is just sitting around doing nothing. You don't really get to see so much of the city that you're in, and you're just hanging around inside the club all day long. I can easily see why a lot of these older bands are druggies, they're alcoholics, because there's nothing to do except sit around all day and either drink or do drugs.
Yeah, don't spend their time with quality, but just dedicated to the music.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Great artists, great musicians are, I like to think that either you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And, I tour with what I consider small bands. Some other people would consider that big. But for me, playing to 1,000 people is not big. I have 1,000 fucking friends. To me, big is playing Madison Square Garden, Metallica, Aerosmith. So sometimes I'm touring with bands and I listen to what they say, and I don't know.
Do you think there is a gold recipe that on how a band should work nowadays?
I think, right now in this day, what's missing? Danger. Rock and roll is not dangerous. There are no superstars. You go into a club, you pay your money, and you look at the guy on stage, and they look just like you. I don't want to go to a fucking show to see a guy that looks just like me. I can stay home and listen to their record. When I go to a show, I want to see the guys on the stage dressed up. I want them to look like fucking rock stars and not plumbers. Which, unfortunately, going back to what I just said, some people have it, some don't. Those that do have it, you see it immediately.
Yeah,